Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of John's Gospel, and we're up to chapter 11, verse 28, and this is the very interesting story of the raising of Lazarus from the dead, a story which doesn't appear in the Synoptic Gospels. And we're up to verse 28. Kai taute epus epelthen kai ephones and Miriam ten adelphen autes la ithra epusa. And having said this, having said this, she departed, and she called Miriam her sister. So this is Martha here, who has gone out and found Jesus in a nearby village, and she's spoken to Jesus and she has confessed her faith in him. And so that's what the tutor is. Having said this, she departed, and she called Miriam her sister. Lathrae, in secret. This is an old form. It's an old dative, but it's become basically fossilized. It's adverbial here, so secretly, having said, the teacher Paresti is present, and he calls you. And she, when she heard this, agerthe, she got up very quickly. This is from egero. It's the aorist passive, but it's often used in an active sense. So literally, she was caused to rise. So she got up very quickly, and erketof from the imperfect from erkomai, and she made her way to him. I like to try and get the sense of the imperfect, so rather than just she went, I prefer to say she made her way to him. Upo de eleluthe ho Jesus estem komen. Jesus had not yet, this is the pluperfect here from erkomai, he had not yet come into the village, al-ain, but he was, eti still, in the place, hopu, where Martha, hupentesen, from hupentao, met with him. Hoiun iudaioi hoiontes metautes en teoikia. So then the Jews, those who were with her in the house, and were paramuthumenoi, we've had that word before, were consoling her. Idontes, having seen Mary, or Miriam, having seen Miriam that, aneste, she stood up takios quickly and went out. E coluthesan, they followed out her, akolithia takes dative. Doxantes, this is the aorist participle here, it's thinking that. So thinking that, hubage, she is departing, she's going off, eis tomenemeon, to the tomb, hina, plus aorist subjunctive, from clio, in order that she might weep there. So the verb is clio with an iota, and you get a vowel gradation, eklausa, in the aorist. Mary, or Miriam, then, when she came where Jesus was, having seen him, epizen, aorist from pipto, she fell prostus podus autu at his feet, legusa auto, saying to him, Courier, vocative, if, now the hastodi uk an mu apithenon hot adelphos on the next page. Sorry, it's ace here. If, this is the past tense, second person singular from Amy, so ace. Sometimes my eyesight can't tell between a hard and soft breathing, but that must be a soft breathing here. So if you were here, on the next page, Adelphos, my brother of me, would not have died. So if you were here, my brother would not have died. Jesus un Jesus then, when he saw her weeping, and those Jews having come with her weeping, so these are all accusative plural participles here. This is from sun and erkamai. There's the elth root, having come with her. So when he saw her weeping and the Jews having come with her weeping, enebrimesata. This is a funny word. It's from embrimao or embrimamai in the middle. It often translated, or can be translated here, he groaned, or he was angry, or he was moved. It's used elsewhere when Jesus becomes, well, perhaps almost angry within himself. It's got that sense of anger about it, this verb. Often translated, he was moved in his spirit. He was unsettled, perhaps, in his spirit. Kai taraxen, hiauton. And again, tarasso is quite a strong verb. It's to disturb, and he disturbed himself. He stirred himself up. He became very emotional, perhaps. It's probably the sense of it here, because he was fond of Lazarus. So he became deeply moved in his spirit, and he literally troubled himself. Kai, so you best have a look at the commentaries on this and see what they have to say. Kai apen, and he said, pu tethe kate. Now this is the perfect from tithemi. So we get the tet reduplication with the the has been lengthened to theta, epsilon iota, and there's your kate, so it's second person plural. So where have you lot placed him? And they say to him, historic present, Kyrie, Lord, Urku, imperatives, come and see. It's a present imperative and an aorist imperative. And we get now what's generally regarded as the shortest verse in the New Testament, Edakrusen ho Jesus, and Jesus wept. Elegon un hoi Iudaioi, and the Jews then were saying, Ide pos ephileauton, behold how he loved him. Tines de ex auton epan, but some of them said, Uk edunato hutos ho enoixas tus ophthalmus, tu tuflu poiesai hina kai hutos me apothene. It's a question, expecting the answer yes. So surely this man, the one having opened the eyes of the blind man, surely he was able, this funny past tense of dunamai, he was able poiesai, literally to do, so we might say to act, perhaps, to do something, in order that also this man might not have died. There was subjunctive there. We get this verb again, embrimamai, here, that we had above. Jesus then, once again, being angry within himself, becoming very emotional, perhaps, is the sense of it here. The root verb here is used in classical Greek. I think of horses snorting in Aeschylus, and so it has a sense of being roused or being distressed, perhaps, in himself. So he comes into the tomb, historic present, and there was a speleon. This is a cave, or perhaps we would think of it now as a sepulchre, but it's literally the word for a cave. We get the word speleology from this and so on. So there was a cave, and a stone, epikator, was lying ep auto against it. And Jesus says, arate, from imperative from iro, take up, so lift up the stone, and the sister of the one having died. This is perfect from telutao, to come to an end, so the one having died. So Martha, the sister of the one having died, says to him, historic present, Kyrie, O Lord, Ade Osde. Already it smells, from Osdo, for it is tetatios. It's an adjective, for literally it is the fourth. So we've got to understand it's the fourth day. For it is the fourth, understand, day. Jesus says to her, now perhaps actually this probably is, he is a 4-day-old corpse, probably more the actual sense of this. But we can just say it's 4 days since he died. Jesus says to her, Uk apon soi, and again, question expecting the answer yes. Did I not say to you that if you believe, opse, second person singular, it's from opsamai, future of horao, you will see the glory of God. Therefore, Aaron, aorist from Iro, they took away the stone. And Jesus, Aren, again, it's from that same verb, he lifted up this time his eyes. He lifted his eyes, ano, up. So we get this same verb here. So they lifted the stone, and Jesus lifted his eyes up and said, Father, Eucharistos soi, I give thanks to you, hoti erkosasmu, that you have heard me. This is aorist from kuo. So ego de aidane, this is the first person singular of the past tense from oida. So it's a kind of pluperfect in form, but imperfect in meaning, or simple past tense in meaning. But I knew that always you hear me. But I spoke on account of the crowd, the one periestota, standing around. This is from peri and histemi. In order that they might believe that you sent me. Aorist from apostello, second person singular. And having said these things, he cried out, from kraugazdo, he cried out in a loud voice, Lazarus, duro exo, come out. The duro is an adverb. It originally meant here, and then originally you would say elthe duro, come here, and then the elthe goes, and it just gets again fossilized in the language. So it's here outside, but it means come here. So come outside. So duro, like also dute, I think similar thing. Just come outside, come here. And the one having died, ex aelthen, he came out, and his dedemenos, this is from deo, this is the perfect passive participle from deo, to bind. So he was bound, and an internal accusative in respect of his feet and his hands. Kerios, this is a fairly rare word. It means pieces of cloth. That's pieces of cloth generally used for burial. A keria. And heopsis, this is his face. Periedetito. Now this is a pluperfect passive from perideo, and had been bound around. So his face had been surrounded or bound around. Sudario, this is with a cloth. The same word actually is used in Acts of the Apostles. You'll see it there as well. It's a cloth. Here it's a cloth used for burial. Lege autois, Jesus says to them, Luciti auto, release him, and allow him hupagon to depart, to go. Because he's all tied up with these various rags and cloths and things. Poloi un ek toni odion hoiothontes prosten Miriam kai theosaminoi ha epoiesen. So many then from the Jews, those having come to Miriam or Mary, and having seen from Theaamai, ha, for Tautaha, the things which he did, epistusan, they believed, eis auton, in him. But certain ones from among them went off to the Pharisees, and they said to them, Tautaha, the things which, supply the antecedent, those things which Jesus did. Sun Agagon un, the chief priests and Pharisees, Sun Agagon, this is aorist from Sunago, they gathered together the Sunedrion, this is the Jewish council. This is a Greek word. There was no word in Hebrew for this. It must have been a later practice, this Sunedrion, this council, because they needed a Greek word to describe it. So the chief priests and the Pharisees, they gathered together a Sunedrion, a council, literally a place of sitting together. The ed root in here is to do with sitting, so a place of sitting together, and hence a council, and were saying, Ti poiumen, what are we doing? It's not a subjunctive, this is a present here. It's not what will we do or what ought we to do, but what are we doing? Because this man, poie, does or performs, pola samea, does many signs, and it's still part of the question after te. If we allow him hutos thus. So this is from afhiami, again one of those words with lots of meanings. Here it's a subjunctive. If we leave him be in this way, if we let him continue on in this manner, pantes, all will believe in him. And the Romans, eleusontai, future from erchomai, they will come, kai arusin, future from iro, literally they will, iro can be used to take or to raise. It can also be used to destroy. We have that unpleasant expression in modern English, to take someone out. So this iro has a range of meanings. It generally means to raise. So they will destroy the place, that is the temple perhaps, or Jerusalem, and the nation Hamon of us. It could also mean they will take from us both this place and this nation. So again, look at the commentaries there and see what the various options of this are, whether it means to destroy or to take from us this place and the nation. A certain one from them, Caiaphas, being the chief priest of that year, eniautos is the word for year, said to them, literally, remember Greek has double negatives don't cancel, so it's literally, you do not know nothing, so you do not know anything. Now is this a question? No, it's a statement. So, nor do you reckon that, impersonal verb, it is expedient, who mean for us. It is expedient for us that one man might die on behalf of the people, hupatou, and not for the whole nation, apoletai, might perish, and not that the whole nation might perish. Tu to de amphiautu, he did not say this from himself, but being the chief priest of that year, he prophesied that Jesus was about, that's the past tense from mello, to die hupa tu ethnos, on behalf of the nation. Not Gentiles here, but behalf, it's ethnos, the nation, the Jewish nation. Al uk hupa tu ethnos monon, but not on behalf of the nation alone, but in order that also the children of God, ta diaskopismena. Now this is a perfect passive participle from diaskopisdo. Skorpisdo is to scatter abroad with the dia, and this is the passive. So the children of God, the ones having been scattered, he might gather into one. And therefore, from that day, they took counsel that they might kill him. Jesus, therefore, no longer openly walked around among the Jews, but he went from there into the land near the desert, into the city being called Ephraim, Kake for Kayake, and there he remained with the disciples. Last little section. It was, preparatory verb to be here, it was the, well, actually you can take this with it, can't you? The Passover of the Jews was near. Literally, there was near the Passover of the Jews. Kai Anabesan, and many went up from Anabino into Jerusalem from the land before the Passover, in order that they might purify themselves. This is from hagnizdo. Hagnos is holy or pure. This is the verb to purify yourself. Et Satun, then they sought Jesus, and they were saying among one another, standing in the temple, this is the participle from that hesteka, I stand. So standing in the temple, they were saying among one another, what does it seem to you? Does it seem that he will surely not come to the feast? The chief priests and the Pharisees, Dedo Kesan, they had given commandments, given the order, that if anyone, gnoi is this optative from ginosko, to know. So this is an aorist optative. That if anyone might know where he is, they will divulge it. So they've given orders, they divulge it, so that they might arrest him. So just to do that bit again, the chief priests and the Pharisees had given commandments that if anyone might know where he is, he would divulge it. This is an aorist subjunctive here. He would divulge it so that they might arrest him. Aorist subjunctive again from piasdo. And that's the end of chapter 11.